Well, thank you very much for joining our webinar today. I want to get right to the meat of our webinar and talk about a book that has a great amount of meaning to me, and I've been reading this over the years. I'll have to admit, not often enough. And if you do not have this book, immediately after this webinar today or this weekend, go buy this book, okay? And you can download it on iTunes as well, so you can listen to it. And that's great, but there's something about having this book in your hands that really makes a big difference. I suggest that you do it. And we're going to begin the process of going through the 28 questions that everyone should ask themselves in order to take inventory of themselves. Because, you know, if you were in the inventory, if you were in the merchandising business, okay, you would take inventory of the merchandise that you've got, okay? But we are all in the marketing, we're all in the personal services business. And annual self-analysis is essential in the effective marketing of personal services, okay? Now, I realize it's just April, it's April the 18th, but, you know, and many of us set our goals and New Year's resolutions there at the end of the year. But, you know, just like most people at the gyms, when they sign up and they register to go to the gym, in January it's very busy. Well, now it's April, and most gyms are just not busy anymore. And the reason is because people have, you know, lost the focus of their goals. And one of the reasons they've done that, let me bring up a term that I'm studying and trying to learn and put to place in my business, but it's called the OODA loop. And let me get that in front of me, so I want to give that information to you. The OODA loop stands for observe, orient, decide, act. Okay, and that's what a pilot calls it, an OODA loop, an OODA loop, an OODA loop. Okay, and what happens is we set this agenda, we decide we're going to go on this trip, but if we're not careful, we don't observe where we are fast enough. We don't orient ourselves to the facts and the circumstances that we're facing, and we don't decide what to do fast enough, and then we don't take action fast enough, and thus what happens is that now we've got a business plan, we've got a plan for our life, we've got New Year's resolutions that go incomplete, they go unobserved, and we end up exactly where we were last year, if that, because, you know, it's difficult out there in the marketplace to be as good as you were last year sometimes because of just the facts of life. I know one of the teachings that I do is over the fact that if you're not growing your affiliate base, you're shrinking your affiliate base because your affiliates are always leaving, dying, quitting. You know, there's all sorts of abandonment and attrition. So you've got to continuously be growing your affiliate base if you're going to have a larger affiliate base tomorrow than you had today, because you're going to have a smaller affiliate base tomorrow than you have today unless you take specific action. Okay, so I thought it was apropos to start here in April and talk about these inventory items. The first one is have I obtained the goal which I established as my objective for this year? Okay, it's just April, but it's time to go through the OODA loop process. Okay, you should work with a definite yearly objective to obtain as a part of your major life objective. Okay, so another, you know, bigger thing here is, have we established what our major life objectives are? I'm about to strike out on a huge marketing campaign, and it's a real significant life objective that I am moving toward. It is a 10-year plan. I'm establishing a 10-year plan for myself and for my businesses, and within that 10-year plan is of course a 5-year plan, and inside of that is a 3-year plan, and inside of that is a 1-year plan, and inside of that is a 6-month goal, and a 3-month goal, and tomorrow's action. Okay, and they all have to be there, and I'm really concerned about, you know, establishing what is effectively a 10-year plan, and as we'll get to in just a moment, Are we in the right business? Are we doing the right thing? Have we made the right decisions? Are we are we a part of the right D&I groups? And those are all strategies, okay? But the overall goal has to be established. One of the things that I've been really working on myself is that if, you start with the goals in life, okay? I want to build a credit repair company that brings in X number of customers a month, okay? That's one of your goals, and I want it to be sustaining, and I want it to build it to a point where I could sell it, I could give it away, I could do whatever. It's a value, okay? But now I ask the question, and the next question is did you set any strategies to accomplish the goals? And then the next question to ask yourself is, what task do I have to accomplish the strategies? And then you've got to ask yourself is, what actions am I taking to accomplish the task? And then next you've got to ask yourself, what does my calendar look like? Because if my calendar and my schedule for tomorrow and next week and next month does not include the items needed in order to take the actions necessary in order to accomplish the task, in order to accomplish the strategy, then you will never accomplish the goal or the objective that you set out for the period of time. Okay, so all that sounds real simple, but it takes a lot of dedication not to go to the office every day and do the same old things, or get up in the morning and do the same old things. I don't know if I downloaded it, but I looked at it the other day, a book, and effectively it says, the title of it is The Value of Getting Up at 5 o'clock in the morning versus 6, and all the things you could get done if you got up 1 hour earlier. So just something to think about as far as, how am I going to get these things done? The next question in this self-analysis questionnaire, personal inventory, is, have I delivered service of the best possible quality of which I was capable, or could I have improved any part of this service? I think it's a good thing to take every file that you have in process and ask yourself that question. Am I communicating effectively with the consumer? Did I do things on time? Did I communicate effectively with the affiliate? I know weeks ago we talked about, I'm not sure the subject of the actual title of the webinar, but effectively it was about when and how to communicate with all the parties related to the transaction. One of those was the affiliate, the referral source, and when and how often should you do that? So that's just a part of this point. Have I delivered the best possible quality of service of which I was capable, or could I have improved any part of the service? A good question to ask yourself. Have I delivered service in the greatest possible quantity of which I was capable? Okay. Another good question to ask yourself, right? Has the spirit of my conduct been harmonious and cooperative at all times? Another good question to ask yourself, wouldn't it be? Okay. Have I permitted the habit of procrastination to decrease my efficiency, and if so, to what extent? Now let's stop there and talk about procrastination. A lot of people have what I call reluctance, and I think that in most businesses, that's the number one procrastination. It could be other things. It could be you need a nurturing campaign, and you just don't stop and do that. You need an affiliate development program, and you just don't stop and do it. You need to go out on Sundays and meet new real estate agents in their open house, and we've got a whole training around that and how to do it. But you just won't leave your house on Sunday to go do that. And I understand it. That's a pain in the butt. But if you go do it for about 3 or 4 weeks, or you go do it once, okay, just go do it once, and follow through the entire process around that, in about 30 days, you'll have some new affiliates, some new referral sources. Okay, so what are you procrastinating about? And just make up your mind that you're going to take the appropriate small action. I'm meeting with my young cousin. I call him my nephew often because he's so much younger than me. His father's passed away. I promised to help him the best I can. And I tell him, I said, Harrison, you got to take massive action. Well, I've stopped telling him that you got to take massive action. Now I'm just telling him you got to take some action. Okay? And sometimes some action is what people need in order to unhinge again, we've got one of our customers that we've really been able to help and grow their business this year. This particular lady has call reluctance. Once she gets on the phone, she does great. But admittedly, she says she has a hard time picking up the phone and making that call. So what do? We hired somebody for her that has the right personality profile that is able to make phone calls like that and call her customers and set up the calls so that she's able to have a schedule. And then we took it to the next step. We don't even let her call. I say let her call. We're doing consulting for her. She's submitted to that consulting, and she's done a great job with it. And coaching, she's done a great job with it. And so now we don't even let her make the phone calls because she's got some call reluctance. So now the assistant actually picks up the phone, calls the person, and says, Kelly's ready to call with you, and transfers the call to Kelly. Kelly doesn't have any choice, okay, but to take the call, right? I just told you who she was, and everybody may have known who she was. But as a result of this, she's increased her income this year in the first quarter over how much she made all of last year. Okay, so it doesn't matter what your reluctance is. There's a way to overcome it, and there's a way to take action to overcome it. Okay, so I want to help you through that. Have I improved my personality? And if so, in what ways? Okay, good question to ask yourself. Have I been persistent in following my plans through to completion? It says my plans. How about that for a typo that I did myself? Have I been persistent in following my plans through to completion? Well, I have to tell you, that's a hard one right there, right? That's a very difficult thing. I think if anybody says they've been following their plans through to completion, I would have to, first of all, check to see if they're lying. And number two, I'll bet you they're progressing and they've become very successful, because if you establish a good plan and you say, I'm going to go do this, okay, and I'm going to, these are the steps I'm going to take. A lot of people say, I'm going to start a credit repair company, but they don't tell themselves how they're going to do it, okay? So what are the steps you're going to take in order to accomplish it? And then as that being your plan, again, we go back to that being the plan, the objective, the goals, what are the strategies, what are the tasks, and is your action items on a daily basis of your schedule leading you in the direction in which it will eventually end with you accomplishing your goals. Okay? Let's stop and talk about that just a minute. If your business model is to gain credit referrals from mortgage turndowns, then what is your action items? Okay? Well, our business model, it would be to go out and if you're able to, take the CE course that we've got in our members only section, personalize it for yourself, go get the training necessary and the certification necessary in order to teach it in your state, and then go and set up appointments with the appropriate real estate associations, the schools, and the brokerages to go out and teach that CE course. And that's kind of a seasonal business, but nonetheless, people are taking CE courses all year round. Okay, in Alabama, you get your renewal every 2 years now, but still there are good courses going on all the time. And so that would be an action that you could take in order to put yourself in a position that you would be able to be in front of real estate agents or mortgage originators in your area, seeing you as the expert and not just a guy wanting leads, not just a guy with mortgage turndowns. Okay, that'd be a great action item to take. But in order to take the action item, you got to go to the steps. Okay, that's what I'm trying to talk about here today. And again, this is just kind of real rudimentary, but it stands to be a good topic. Have I reached the decisions promptly and definitely on all occasions? Well, that's a good point. According to this book, people that make decisions really quickly and firmly end up being more successful. Well, in order to make the decision firmly, if this is what you want to do, you really need to have the background information to decide if that's what you're capable of accomplishing. Have I permitted any one or more of the 6 basic fears to decrease my efficiency? Another section of the book that we're not going to talk about today. Have I been either overcautious or undercautious in the way you're approaching your business? Okay. Again, don't take this to mean that have I been undercautious? Well, I want to go grow the business with SEO, but I've really not done the things necessary. That I don't think is what we're talking about here. But taking that massive action begins with taking 1 or 2 steps of action every day. Has my relationship with my associates and work been pleasant or unpleasant? If it has been unpleasant, has the fault been partly or wholly mine? Okay, we're going through a situation where, we've been implementing in our business continuous process improvement. And it's a very interesting dynamic when you have an employee come to a meeting and say, well, things just aren't going like they need to do it, and like they need to be regarding the billing or regarding customer service or whatever it might be, and they bring the problem to you when effectively there's another employee that they've got to work through the process on. I'm saying, I told my employees the other day, I said, this is a great opportunity for the process improvement. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to go back and I want you to solve this problem and bring me back the answer next week. Don't bring me the problem, bring me the solution. Now, if it reaches the point where you've exhausted all your measures and you can't bring me a solution, then let me know, and I'll help you resolve it. But let the process work. But are people being unpleasant in the business? If they are, you need to sit them down and say, now hold on a second, guys, and resolve the issue. Over the years, I've been in business since 1985, and I couldn't tell you the times as a young business person, particularly, that I was, a little intimidated by the guys that worked for me that were, in some instances, twice my age. And every time that I let them begin to run my business without having a firmly established plan in place, it derailed. It was a problem. Okay, so if you find yourself in that position, the way to do it, the way to overcome it, is to establish the absolute plan of what we're going to do. I was at a meeting last week, and they brought up that this guy had a CFO that wasn't delivering the financial statements on time. And so what he did is he sent the guy down. He says, I've been going through all these job descriptions and what I want to accomplish in this business, and I want my financial statements by the 3rd day of the month. Can you live with that? And the guy says, well, I can't get it by the 3rd, but I can get it by the 5th. And the guy says, well, that's better than the 10th or the 15th. So the next month, the CFO didn't bring in the financials on the 5th. So now he had a new weapon to go in and see that guy. Now, hold on a second. We said we're going to have that by the 5th. What got in your way? Well, and he offered an excuse. So the next time he came in there, he said, well, you still didn't meet the goal. What's going on now? And now he's able to say, well, Bob, are you able to get this job done, or do I need to look for somebody else to do part of your job or all of it? So there's definite ways to approach and be able to approach based on the way that you build and grow and manage your business. And again, if you're in business for yourself, guess what? You've got contractors that you're dealing with, whether it's Score, whether it's a marketing company, whether it's somebody doing your website, there's multitudes of things. The guy cutting your grass, the guy cleaning your office. All of these people you want to have live up to a level of expectation that allows you to hum through life, growing your business. Have I dissipated any of my energy through a lack of concentration of effort? Boy, how does that strike home with me? I'm the ADD guy of the ADD guys. Instead of one monitor, I've got 4. And what I've really discovered is I'm not that good at multitasking as I thought it was. What ends up happening is I get real distracted. And so, I can say that I've not done this. I've definitely dissipated many times my energy through a lack of concentration. And one of the things that causes this a little bit is kind of a dual dynamic is procrastination. Okay? If you're not careful, you dissipate your energy with procrastination, and you dissipate it with the lack of focus and concentration of effort, because many times you're trying to do too many things. You don't set aside the time to get things done when they need to be done, and you just get unfocused. So one of the ways that I've managed that is through time blocking my day. If you've got a project to do, let's say you want to write a lot of content, which is one of the things that I've been doing. Well, set aside time and block it out of your day where you're not going to answer the phone, you're not going to do emails, you're not going to do anything else. You're actually going to do that. Or if it's going out and building, getting new affiliates, if you don't do it with a concentrated effort and dissipate your energy, you won't be as successful. Okay. Overcoming and growing a great business requires and demands a concentration of effort like a laser beam, not like a shotgun. Okay, the shotgun approach to building a business is not as effective as the concentration of effort in the building a business. So you want to definitely manage your energy, because this is what we're talking about is energy. You want to manage your energy by concentrating in the now. Okay, what you're doing now. When you're with your kids, be with your kids. And I'm not good at that. I have to admit. When you're with your wife, be with your wife. Get off the phone. I'm not good at that either. Stop checking your email. I'm not good at that either. Okay? So this speaks right to me, and I'm sure that it speaks right to some of you guys as well on the call. Have I been open-minded and tolerant in connection with all subjects? Wow. Another tremendous statement here that if we were living more closely to the rule that it's setting forth, wouldn't we have better results? In what way have I improved my ability to render service? Great point, right? And so, I think this point brings out that the next effort would be to look at your service and actually maybe even ask some of your clients, how could I improve my service? And take note and make a decision that I'm going to overcome that issue. A lot of times, though, people, talking about concentration of effort, they come away with 10 things that they need to do. And instead of focusing on one thing, they focus on 10 things, and as a result, they start nothing. Okay? So when you go to a seminar and you get 10 ideas, instead of concentrating on all 10, pick one. And say, in the next 30 days, I'm going to implement that, and I'm going to implement it in my business, and I'm going to start it now. And I keep going back to this. We're typically all, the best business we're going to do is around mortgages. Now, last week we had a training on car dealerships. So we've got training in our members-only section on that. If you want to do business with car dealers, go listen to that because Josh was the expert. I'm not. So I'm going to talk about mortgage guys because that's but there's no better deal out there. There's no better referral source than a mortgage turndown. But there are specific ways to enhance your ability to gain that business over other actions. Okay, and again, there's a way to do it, and we've got training to do it. So there's another point to go improve your ability to do it versus going out there and and wasting your time and getting frustrated because you're not having success. And I was on a webinar yesterday, and unfortunately I wasn't able to sit through the entire thing. But one of the points that it made is that this guy, let's just pretend he was in the mortgage business, in the credit repair business. He was in the mortgage business, but the point I'll be able to drive the point home really well by just concentrating on mortgage on credit. And he hired an assistant, and you can hire pretty good assistants locally, or you can hire them to work from home, or you can hire them offshore as well. Okay? I've got a couple of assistants in the Philippines. I've got some development people in various parts of the world and the country. And some people work from their home, and I've got some people in my office, and so I use a plethora of experiences. This guy made a point that I think is absolutely critical here. He's got an assistant calling referral sources to set up appointments. And so the only people that this guy talks to, the credit repair company, is the people that say yes. Push that cold calling, push those no's over onto somebody else. And I thought, that was the best piece of advice and takeaway. I wanted to share it with you, but push the no's over on somebody else. Let them do that drudgery. You only concentrate on the yeses, and what a great way to consider building out a referral network. Okay, another point there is just the follow up, using them to follow up as well. So there's a lot of ways to improve your ability to render service that are out there. We've been talking about them on these webinars every week. Have I been intemperate in any of my habits? Another great point. Have I expressed either openly or secretly any form of egotism? I think if we could look deeply inside ourselves, more than likely the answer is yes to some extent. Has my conduct toward my associates been such that it has induced them to respect me? I was at a seminar last week, and the topic of the seminar was what happened to the employee that I hired. And the fact that, and I'm going to be able to reteach this training because it was so good. But it effectively says, what we do is the way we hire people is we put an ad in the paper. It says, I want a minimum of 2 years experience. I want a minimum person that can type this fast. I want a person that's good on the phone. I want a person that works well with others. So when we interview somebody, all we're going to get is the minimum. We're going to get the minimum person. We're going to find the minimum person. What they said to do instead is to run an ad completely differently. And the best place to run ads these days is on LinkedIn and Facebook, and they're not an ad at all. And they're talking about how great your company is, how much you respect your boss, even if you're the boss, how good of an atmosphere that you create, because the best people to hire are the people that are already at another job doing a great job, not the people that are, and there's a tremendous number of people out of work these days that are very qualified, but you get my point. And so instead of running the ad of things that you want them to tell you their minimum standards are, instead of turn the tables and talk about how great it is to work at your company, how much you're helping people, get your testimonials from your customers. Another point that we've talked many times about, go to every single closing, real estate closing that's in your area, and meet the listing agent, meet the seller, meet the title agent. Take your camera, have someone take pictures of you and the selling agent and the customer and frame it, and the next day or two drop it off at the real estate agent's office, okay? Send it to, drop by the buyer's home and give them that picture and say, I'm so glad that I was able to help you be able to buy your house. And then put the same photograph in your office on your Hall of Fame. And what will happen is that, when the customer comes in your office, they say, oh, you'll be able to point to, oh, yeah, Bob here, I was able to help him buy a house over on such and such a street, near where you're looking for him. And the real estate agent, when someone walks in and says, well, who is that? Well, that's my credit repair guy. He helps me close deals, and the goal is to fill up the wall, okay? And so it's a great opportunity to gain that respect and in order to then play, and you have to be careful about this, you have to get permission, of course, to disclose the consumer, but get a testimonial, and if you can, get it in writing where they agree to the fact that you can publish that. But again, just a little point you have to be careful about. But build that respect out there with your associates, with the real estate people. And again, on the point of building respect, engage yourself with the real estate agent community. Engage yourself with the mortgage loan officer associations in your area, whether it's mortgage banker, mortgage broker, or other associations. Get involved. Be involved in that community, because that's where you're going to get your business from. Stop just going in there and asking for business, and you got to learn to give, and as a result, there will be that respect. Have my opinions and decisions been based upon guesswork or accuracy of analysis and thought? What a great thing to consider and decide how you're going to act from this point forward, right? Have I followed the habit of budgeting my time, my expenses, my income, and have I been conservative in these budgets? Great point for a young business. How much of my time have I devoted to unprofitable effort, which I might have used to better advantage? Wow. One of the things that I like to tell people, and I usually do at the end of this webinar, is when you leave your office on Friday, or no later than Saturday, know for sure what you're going to do next week to the best of your ability. And if how often will you plan an unprofitable thing to do? Well, sometimes you get into a situation where something you thought was going to be profitable ends up being unprofitable. But then at the end of next week, look back at that schedule with an eye and say, what did I do that for? Why did I do this? Hold yourself accountable like you are working for somebody. Because I know most of us work by ourselves and for ourselves. And we're alone too much of the time, and we're not holding ourselves accountable. And so I suggest that you find a mastermind group in your area. I've just joined a Vistage group. It used to be called Tech Groups. And it's a local business people that we're not competitive with each other. We hold ourselves accountable. We present a business plan. We got 4 or 5 points we want to try to accomplish this year. And you go to the meetings and they hold you accountable. So and so in some way you could do that in your area as well. How may I rebudget that time and change my habits so I will be more efficient during the coming year? And I think the year is a great place to end, but I think tomorrow is a great place to start. You can't end up being more efficient in the year if you don't end up being more efficient this week and even tomorrow. Have I been guilty of any conduct which is not approved by my conscience? And if you have, forgive yourself of it, ask someone else to forgive you of it, and move on. In what ways have I rendered more service, and in what ways have I rendered more service and better service than I was paid to render? Okay, good point. Things to be talking about. You know, getting paid is something that's important in this business and difficult to do sometimes. Have I been unfair to anyone? And if so, in what way? Measure that. Talk about it. Think about it. Ask them to forgive you, forgive yourself, and move on. Am I in the right vocation? If not, why not? Okay, great thing to ask yourself. There's a particular gentleman that I know that out in California. He has no business in this business, yet he keeps trying at it, And I, at some juncture, said, you need to quit, and you need to go do something else because you're not built for this. Okay, and if that's the case, now's a good time to begin to really analyze that and decide whether you're in the right business or not, and move on. It's okay. Has the purchaser of my services been satisfied with the service I've rendered? And if not, why not? Good question to ask. And how do you find out? Well, you ask them the question, right? What is my present rating on the fundamental principles of success? Make this rating fairly and frankly, and have it checked by someone who is courageous enough to do it accurately and to be honest with you. Okay? And again, we're back to that mastermind group of some sort. Put yourself in a situation where you can be honest with people and say, this is what I plan to do. These are the things I accomplished, and let them look you in the eye and say, now, Bob, you didn't get that done. What's going on? We just need to take that off the list. Is that not important? Okay. Is it important? Not important. Okay. You said it was important. You haven't done anything about it. So I think we just need to take it off the list. Okay. And hold yourself accountable a little bit, and you'll be surprised at what you overcome in the next weeks and months and years. I want to thank you for joining us today. Again, I'm sorry that we started late, but we got through our presentation. And if you want to schedule a demo of our software, of our services, contact us anyway, go to the Scoreinc.com website or give us a call at this number, and we will be happy to help you in any way. We've got a lot of free training. If you are not a member yet, don't remember your members' credentials, go to our website. There's a members section there. We've got over 70 hours of training on subjects that just will absolutely categorically help you build your business, grow your business, and be more profitable. We've got the FTCPA business there. That is absolutely something that you must be doing. It's not only a way for you to make more money, but it's a way for you to help your customer. And there's an entire training there. There's a section on getting paid, which is obviously a very critical element of your business. So we hope you to join us at our website. Thank you again for joining us. I wish you a great week, ending week, great weekend. Plan for next week. Plan for success for next week, and you'll have more success. Thank you very much. Have a great day.